Okay, so the next question is Card versus Framer 2024. I'm recording this on the 4th of January. So this has become a pretty common theme in our community, our Card course community. Folks are asking whether they should shift to Framer or whether or not if you're just getting started now, you should pick or learn one or over the other. So here's what I would say and then what I would recommend. Number one, Framer, they're both great. Card is fantastic. It's simple. It's super easy to edit for beginners and non-designers. The sites can be built very, very quickly, and they can then be sold very, very quickly if you are doing this work as an agency or design studio, and you are specifically targeting, let's say, About Me, Linktree, link in bio style alternative pages. Very, very easy. It's fun, and it's like dummy simple to do. Framer is also pretty easy, but it's a lot more of a learning curve if you're not a designer, which is a group I count myself in. In other words, I'm not a designer. So I find Framer thrilling in the sense that you can build some crazy, cool, creative things, but it's not so easy to make that happen. The Framer templates tend to be more complicated. There are a lot more design elements. There are components and all these other things you have to kind of learn. It's more analogous to something like Figma, which I have no experience in whatsoever. So for me, it was analogous to nothing that I'd worked with before, whereas most folks who are using Framer professionally as professional designers, studios, agencies, consultants, etc., have, at least to my eye, it appears, a background in something like Figma. So the other things to consider are, in terms of the fees that you're going to pay. So both of these platforms allow you to publish sites for free. And what I mean by that is you can publish Framer sites on the Framer domains. So it's like framer.media, framer.ai, all those sorts of extensions that Framer gives you within their, the back end. And you can publish them ad infinitum, continuously for free. But if you're doing client work, you're going to eventually run up against this idea that your clients are going to be like, well, great, but why is this actually published on abc.framer.media rather than myname.com? And that's going to happen often. And the truth is, Framer is expensive for hosting. So if you're actually going to put a custom domain attached to your client's Framer site, it's going to cost you, and it could cost, like $15, $25 a month per client, which is a fee that you either have to integrate into what you're charging or pass on to the client. Card, on the other hand, has none of that. So if you have 100 Card sites within your container and you've paid for that for the year, and that's very affordable, as everyone knows, you can literally just attach your client's DNS records to the sites, and then you could just publish those sites without paying any sort of hosting fee. You don't pay anything, your clients don't pay anything. It's part of the package that you get when you purchase a Card sites. So while both are awesome, again, I just actually, created this like framerlove.com sort of showcase for some of the Framer templates that I like and we're using. And it's built on WordPress, which is, maybe not lost. The irony is not lost on some folks who are asking about that. But one of the reasons I didn't put that on Framer is because I don't want to pay $25 a month to host, a site that's not making any money, that just actually started. And, there's not really, I spend like an hour every 2 weeks on. So that's a perfect illustration of why, Framer has an expense consideration, where if that was built on card and I was doing the same thing like cardlove.com, I could just build the thing in an afternoon, publish it, and then it lives for free within my card hosting environment. So, that's a good sort of way of maybe extemporaneously sharing the price difference. Again, folks who are selling Framer types of sites, the studios, the agencies, and now there are a lot of them. Some of them are doing phenomenally well, and they're building really cool, really high-end sites that are super valuable to clients on their own. So they just look so damn fantastic that it's hard to, imagine selling that for a couple $100, right? Whereas on a card site, you could do something in 10 minutes using a template, as I've demonstrated over and over again. That you can sell for a few $100s, and it doesn't matter. It took you no time. And, it's just free money at that point for you. You put a newsletter subscription box in, you put some kind of testimonial or review software, that kind of aggregates your clients' reviews. And all of a sudden, again, I've covered this a zillion times, you have a landing page that is exponentially better than the landing pages that folks are building on Linktree. And it's the same target market, and it's just an easy thing to sell. The Framer sites, you're looking at selling something for probably many thousands of dollars, but they're going to be much more intricate. They're going to be much more beautiful. They're going to have all these sort of fancy flashing, lights and images and all the various ways in which you can create these like really, incredible, kind of artistic masterpieces in Framer. But your target market is much smaller. There's not that many people out there that are willing to spend thousands of dollars or can afford to spend thousands of dollars on a website. So you're really winnowing down the amount of potential clients that you have, and their expectations are going to be really high if they're spending that kind of cash. Where if you're building a card landing page for a plumber, a therapist, a local dentist, a florist, a sushi restaurant, where all you're really doing is providing a newsletter opt-in and then a kind of like a link in bios or a Linktree style alternative, and then like having all their local Yelp reviews showing up on their page. That's really, really a transcendent, appealing offer to that particular client. And they're not really expecting all the fancy, sort of bells and whistles that Framer builds in. So I love them both. I'm playing with both platforms in 2024. Personally, my own focus is not really on any of this so much anymore. We're building a tinybookabout.com, this book publishing platform for authors and entrepreneurs, tiny books, big ideas. And while Card and Framer both are part of the kind of offers that we're going to be making to Amazon authors for book launch landing pages, I think more Card clients are likely than Framer clients. And to be honest, I'm not a designer nor developer, nor will I be doing most of this work myself. But if I had to, I would certainly be much more confident doing this stuff on Card than I would on Framer, which I don't feel necessarily I'm good enough at to really, kind of build something that someone ought to pay for. All right. Teach what you know, do what you love. Wake up the world with your work. I will also cover one more question that folks asked about the difference between Card and Framer, but I'm going to do it in a different audio, so this one doesn't go too much longer. Thanks so much for listening. As always, I appreciate you. If you have questions and you're in our community, feel free to ask. I'm going to post this also on YouTube, I believe, today. So if you're listening there, you can also ask. And if I have time, I will stop by and see if I can give you a reply. Thanks again. Have a wonderful day.